Right, in the description of this discussion, there's a link to and it says why 16-year-olds should not drive. Where I come from in Britain, 16-year-olds can't drive. They're too young legally. Um, I think I think. If they're disabled, they can actually start having lessons having lessons at 16. That's I'm not quite 100% sure about the law regarding that. It might be that no one can drive on the roads at all until they're 17. But I think under I think I think if they're disabled, they can. I think some of them can start driving as having driving lessons. I think with a qualified instructor or maybe somebody else, and it might be as young as 16, but I'm not sure about the law regarding that. But it's in a lot of countries it's 18. In fact, it might be even older than that in some countries. But I think it's 18 in most countries that you have to be to drive. But in America, it is 16. In fact, in some states I've heard that you can actually drive as young as 14. Once again, I'm not sure about the law regarding that. You might have to have someone with you to drive at 14, but I couldn't be. I'm not an expert on these things. I don't know the law about everything. But in Britain, a 16-year-old can drive a tractor, and they can ride a 50cc moped as well. And the thing is about 50cc mopeds. A lot of people are surprised that you can ride one of them at 16, but you can't drive a car until you're 17 because you tend to be more at risk on motorcycles on the road. In fact, you're even more at risk on a bicycle actually than a car. But I think with the thing about driving a car, because of the size of it, the speed it goes at, and the size of it, and therefore the amount of space it takes up on the road, you're not as much at risk yourself, but you can potentially do more damage to other people with it, and a 50cc moped can go at say 30 miles an hour at the very most. I think I could be quite. Once again, I'm not quite 100% sure about these things, but a car. I mean, you're going at 70 miles an hour in Britain if you're keeping to the speed limit. But if you're not keeping to the speed limit, goodness knows what speed you. I mean, if some roads in other countries there isn't a speed limit, so the speed's another thing with a car where it isn't on a push bike or a moped. That isn't the same. You're going much slower. I think a moped goes at 30 mile an hour tops. I think, but once again I couldn't be quite sure about that. But cars are probably a car. I think you have to be 17. I think the reason why it's 17 for a car and 16 for a moped is because of the car is heavier and faster and can therefore potentially do more damage to other people. As but a lot of people think would say 16 was too young for the moped. There was talk. I don't know how long ago it was, but I remember there was talk in the newspapers of raising the age for driving the car up to 18, but it's never been done. It's I never actually had a driving lesson until I was 46, and I've still never passed me. I've actually had my own car without plates on it, but it's been written off now. I've not got one anymore. That's another discussion that I'm going to have on Asperger's syndrome and driving, because I've been diagnosed as having Asperger's syndrome with it, and it does affect my ability to drive. But I think the general opinion is that the younger you are when you're driving, the more at risk you are. I mean, the insurance is higher in Britain for those under 25, because they're the ones who are most likely to be involved to have an accident. So it's. But then again, there's another school of thought that says if you start young, you're safer, because you get more practice by starting young. That's another school of thought, so that's another way of looking at things. But the name of the discussion is, are the Americans right in allowing 16-year-olds to drive? I think actually an older person told me a long time ago, 16-year-olds in Britain could ride any size motorcycle, but then again, they weren't. I mean, motorbikes do go pretty fast. I mean, a moped goes up to 30 miles per hour, but motorbikes, I think you can go as fast as on a motorbike as what you can in a car. And it's like I've said, in this country you're restricted to 70 miles per hour, but in other countries there's some road. I mean, there's roads in America where the speed limit is 80 miles per hour, and other countries there isn't a speed limit. So, but I think motorcycle riders weren't as much at risk years ago as what they are today, because there weren't as many cars or lorries on the road. You didn't really need to be protected the same. Now the only thing a 16-year-old could ride as far as motorcycles go is just a moped. But what do you think about 16-year-olds driving anyway? Would you say the Americans have got it wrong? Anyway, but I'll be back with more discussions about various things. Bye.